And let's see here. Watch. So music's gone. I think it is. Give me a second. We should be good. I'll just go with the show, though.
Okay, cool. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 425 show. I'm your host, Nicole Mangina with Windermere Real Estate. This is your place to be for all things real estate and lifestyle related here on the East Side. Each week, we have the honor and pleasure of featuring somebody in the local area who runs a business and just makes this a great place to live, because we've always known this, but now more than ever, small businesses are really what makes an environment. It creates the community and the backdrop for our lives. And so whether you're new to the area or just looking for something new to do, especially right now, it's a constant conversation at the dinner table at our house of, hey, we've all been trapped in the house. We want to do something different. What is it that we can do? Because you feel like everything's closed, but not everything. So we've got a great thing for you today, but I always like to start with a real estate update. And kind of similar to last week, the real estate update is that things are going. We're moving along, we're getting it done. Things look differently. We can only have 2 people in a house at a time, but it really does feel like we're getting some momentum back. Real estate's been happening this whole time, but in the last week, I would say people, I think, are starting to feel comfortable being out and about. They're also realizing that this thing is gonna happen for a while, but they also know whether or not kind of they feel secure in their jobs and are comfortable making a move. So I'm starting to see buyers and sellers start to re-engage in the market. So there you go. Good times. If you've got real estate on the brain, I encourage you to reach out. I am always happy to answer your questions. You can find me at nicole@nicolemangina.com. There you go. Real estate update for the week. I'm excited to introduce our guest today. We have Aaron Raff with the North Bend Bakery on the show with us today. Good morning.
Good morning, Nicole. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Of course.
I know you've been up and at it for a while with the bakery.
Every morning.
Yes. But North Bend Bakery is open. It's open for business. And we were talking about this before the show as, you know, kind of the trails start to open up and people get out and about. North Bend has always been one of our favorite stops before and after hike. I get the donuts on the way out, the sandwich on the way back. Or even if you're just looking for a really lovely drive, if you don't happen to live in North Bend already, the North Bend Bakery is a great spot to head out to.
It's a beautiful spot. The view of Mount Si is always breathtaking. It's a great place to stop by. We just offered some more specialty sandwiches, so it's a great place for lunch. And of course, like you said, donuts in the morning are always fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us about the bakery. It has a long history in North Bend.
It does, yeah. It's actually been at its location for 92 years.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it's been there a while. Actually, 90 used to be the interstate right in front of the bakery. So all the logging trucks and stuff used to come up and down there, which is pretty cool. I've got a pretty neat picture of that in the bakery. I took over about a year and a half ago, and it's been everything I signed up for and plenty more. It has been honestly a dream of mine for quite some time now, since I came out of culinary school. And when the opportunity arose, it was something that I jumped on and was a no-brainer that we could take the traditions of the bakery in North Bend kind of to the next step. And I think we've been slowly but surely being more successful at that. So it's been a thrill. Yeah, it's enjoyable.
That's fantastic. How did you end up, so you went to culinary school.
Yes.
And then how did you end up buying the bakery? What's the story behind that?
So I went to culinary school in Kentucky, and I happened to go to the same culinary school as the executive pastry chef for Tom Douglas. When she kind of saw that connection on my resume when I applied, she brought me in. And so I did production for Tom Douglas for about 3 years.
Okay.
And then I was the head baker at the Grateful Bread. There's a location in North Seattle and Duval. And I did that for about 3 years, and I kind of was at my ceiling there, and I kind of wanted to expand with them, maybe into a third location, and it didn't really pan out or wasn't in exactly the interests of the owners of that bakery. So I kind of just started looking around, and honestly, there was a Craigslist ad for George's Bakery that was up
No
for,
way.
yeah, just a couple days. And my wife, who is a lawyer, kind of drafted up a nice cover letter there to send off. And the owner of George's currently still owns the building, and he
Okay.
kind of wanted a baker to take over the bakery instead of somebody that didn't maybe have prior experience, but was a good manager or something along those lines. So I think the stars kind of aligned in that the owner was looking for somebody like me, and I just happened to come across it on Craigslist. I mean, honestly, it was extremely fortunate, and an opportunity that I wasn't going to pass up. So
I love stories like that. Isn't that so funny how something's just, it's like the stars align,
it
right?
just,
Who would have thought
yeah.
you'd buy your next business and find your dream career on Craigslist?
Yeah. I never would have thought that. I wasn't necessarily my top place that I was looking around for necessarily, but I thought I would give it a shot, and it was just sitting there. So it was beautiful.
That's awesome. Perfect. Well, and I'm sure they wanted somebody who was a baker because they wanted to feel confident that it would stay in business, right? As a bakery versus having somebody turn it into something else.
I think as the building owner, yeah, I think he has an investment in keeping that, especially with its history there in North Bend here, a bakery.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Erin, if you can hear me, we can't hear you right now. So, Erin, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
We got him
Perfect.
back. Sorry about that, Aaron. Your kind of Zoom went out just a little bit, so we kind of lost the last maybe minute or so. But if you want to repeat it, that'd be great.
Oh yeah. So
great, thanks.
I have a baker that currently works at the bakery who owned it before the gentleman that I bought it from. He owned it for about 14 years. So I have his knowledge and history and experience in owning the bakery that I currently own, and we have a lot of back and forth baking conversations and things like that, and maybe different things that we're going to try out. And so it's really enjoyable to work alongside and have the employees that I have who are invested in the success of the business. It's not always easy to come by when they don't have an actual investment in the business, but truly care about the trajectory that we're trying to go. And so it's been thoroughly enjoyable. It really has. So
that's great. What are some of the bakery traditions that you've kept alive? Are there some things that the bakery is known for that you guys do a lot of?
Yeah, so the donuts, coming from Seattle, I didn't realize that, our donuts were as popular as they are. And so we've really expanded on the variety of donuts, different cake donuts, things like that. What I didn't expect is we do a couple tree farms during Christmas, and they're actually more busy than like Thanksgiving. And so one of the tree farms starts the Friday after Thanksgiving. So that holiday time period, my bakers are hard at work, including me, to try and fulfill not only all of the Thanksgiving orders that come in, but then try to fulfill hanging out with Santa all day at the tree farm, and all of the kids that want the tree cookies and all of that. It's been different. I didn't really grow up with that, so to take over in September, and then a short 3 months later, you're kind of thrusted into this whole holiday extravaganza, was a learning experience, to say the least. Very little sleep, a lot of work, but the payoff is really great. So
that's great. Well, and what a perfect way to just kind of introduce yourself to the community and get connected just from the get-go.
Yeah, we're at Christmas Creek Tree Farm, so it's just up the way from North Bend here, where a lot of people have been coming since they were kids. They say they've been coming for 20 years, and Every time we stop by, George's Bakery, North Bend Bakery, same thing. We always grab, a rum ball or a tree cookie or something like this. So the nostalgia is really great. There's just a ton of support from the community, which has been honestly amazing. I kind of grew up, in Seattle. I grew up outside San Francisco, so I didn't get a whole lot of like the small town and the backing of like everybody has an investment in everybody's well-being, and especially the small businesses that encompass kind of what North Bend is.
Yeah.
So it's been wonderful, honestly. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, small towns and tradition just seem to kind of go hand in hand. And
It
that's
really,
something that I just is amazing, and always means a lot to me. And I always love to have that experience
yeah.
whenever I'm out there somewhere. What are some of the things that you guys are doing at the?
Some of the new things. Sorry, you cut out.
Yeah.
Yeah, new things. So we were closed actually for 2 weeks, and I have a University of Oregon grad working donuts for me who graduated in art. So we got new menu boards up, big chalkboards and stuff like that to try and make everything really clear for the customer. We started with some specialty paninis that we kind of had build your own sandwich before that, but we're trying to take lunch kind of to the next level. Most of the customers know that we do the sweets, donuts and cookies and pies and all of that, but we also do a variety of specialty paninis now. We have some calzones, we have quiches and different weekend specialty things, like little tortas and a different style seasonal quiche that we do. So, the seasonal variety stuff keeps it fresh, but still is somewhat the same product. So there's the easement on the back of the house to, hey, I want to implement a new kind of flavor, this month.
Right.
But, the shaping, most of it's the same, but we're just going to tweak it here and there. Is really fun for me. And I know from being a baker, it can be monotonous. A lot of it is repetition. And so to kind of throw new things every so often, keeps it fresh in the back, keeps them, excited about coming to work and doing all that. So it's a win-win, kind of that camaraderie. Yeah.
That's awesome. If you're just tuning in today, we have Aaron Raff, the owner of the North Bend Bakery, joining us today, talking about all of the amazing things that they do, both for donuts. You're speaking my language. I love donuts. I think it's the best food on the planet. That's my desert island. If I could only have one food, it would be donuts. But you go way beyond cookies and pastries and baked goods. You have amazing sandwiches for lunch, quiches. I don't know if it's too late to order, if somebody wanted to do a little Mother's Day quiche or something.
It is not too late to order. We just got our menus up. I'll be posting them on our social media. And so we'll be open 7 to 5 on Mother's Day. We'll have a lot of donuts. We're going to do some cheesecake. We're going to do some strawberry shortcakes. We're going to do maybe some cupcakes. So we're still working on some of the things that we're going to have available, danishes, fruit danishes. So yeah, whatever works. We'll have quiche and stuff like that. So brunch and sweets, North Bend Bakery. Yeah.
That's awesome. And I saw one of the funniest posts on social media. It was about a week ago. That was basically like, hey dads, your kids do not have Mother's Day covered this year, right? Nobody's coming home with their art from school. So you're going to actually have to pull it together on your own.
Yeah. And I told my bakers too, it's one of the most popular days to go out for brunch, to any of your favorite places. And unfortunately, that's just not the case this year. So, like the Tweeds and some of the other little places, Huckstadter maybe, it could be a good weekend for the small breakfast, small business breakfast places in North Bend. That's kind of what I'm hoping we can all, rise to the occasion and support all of the mothers who are looking to enjoy what they can of Mother's Day, whatever that may look like. So,
Personally, I think it's great, right? I know in our house, we are always going a million different directions. And so often holidays like the, there's great things about what's going on, and there's obviously some really not awesome things. But just personally, one of the things that I'm enjoying is we're getting a lot more time as a family when we're actually connecting versus like just everybody passing. Do you have the food? Do you have your sandwich before your practice or this or that? So the opportunity to slow down a little bit and make something special, pick something up from the bakery so that, nobody has the stress of trying to cook anything, but we still get that opportunity to really connect. For us, that's been one of the blessings in our house that we have really, really enjoyed.
I'm a first-time father. I have a 14-month-old son here. My wife's a teacher, and so she's been kind of doing Zoom classes online, and I've been spending a lot of time with my son, which I would never have been able to do that. So it's been a blessing. It has been, and a curse. Like you said, there's horrible things, but then there's perspective that, hey, look, take the time that you would never take.
Exactly.
Spend time with your loved ones.
Yeah, for sure. So, and now that everybody's out in the open and that we all actually eat carbs, it's good to come to the bakery. That was one of the funniest things, right? When this whole thing first happened and everybody cleared out the bread aisles, I was like, I thought we're all gluten intolerant and nobody eats carbs. Well, clearly we do.
That's right. Yeah. The small little endorphin releases, I think from time to time now, keep you sane.
Exactly. So there's no better place to get your fix than the North Bend Bakery. That is for sure. What are some of the most popular items on your menu?
Maple bar, when it comes to maple bar. We do a blueberry cake donut, seasonal, so it's around right now. That one's pretty popular when it comes to cake donut. We do a cronut. So it's a half croissant, half donut. So yeah, if you could take a donut and make it a little bit more unhealthy, we laminate it with butter, and then it's
pretty good. I've had one. They're pretty amazing.
They are pretty amazing. And then we have the variety of cookies, but one of my favorites is our little 00. So it's a peanut butter cookie, and we have a Reese's melted inside of it. So you take a candy bar and you stick it in a cookie.
Perfect.
Right. Yeah. Pretty good. And our fruit pies are really popular. They're vegan, so they really
are. They really? That's amazing.
They are. Yeah. They're made with shortening, palm oil shortening instead of butter. And so that really attracts a wider variety of people. And I kind of thought I would change the pie dough recipe when I came in, and it's a staple there. It's really flaky. The technique that we have with the shortening is really good. And so after a very short period of time, I don't fix what ain't broke. So we just keep going with that, and people thoroughly enjoy the fruit pies. So I would say for sweets, those are probably our staples.
That's awesome. And can people just come by the bakery right now? Do they need to call ahead? How are you guys working it right now with whatever we have going on?
It's any of the above. You can just walk in. Normally there isn't a ton of parking because we're right on North Bend Way there, but right now, it's pretty easy to kind of pull up. We have a sign outside that does have our phone number and stuff on it. So if you are uncomfortable with actually coming in, you can just call us from outside. You can call us before you show up. We will do curbside pickup, so you can pay over the phone. If you want to come in, we have a little hand sanitizer station kind of right when you come in through the door there.
Great.
Most of our patrons have been very good with the social distancing. We'll allow 3 or 4 kind of groups in, and then, weather permitting, you can kind of just form kind of outside and kind of do a self-regulated 1 in, 1 out. But yeah, other than that, hopefully, in a couple of weeks, we'll be in the phase 2, maybe 50% capacity. I'm maybe getting ahead of myself, but for now, you can come in or you can give us a call. You can email us at the northbendbakery@gmail.com too. I
Great.
check that pretty frequently throughout the day. So if you have an upcoming birthday or a custom order you want to talk about, feel free to email us as well.
Perfect. And there's some lovely parks in North Bend as well. You know, if you
There
wanted to
are.
come by, yeah, get a sandwich or something, go have a little picnic. I think the weather's supposed to be like high 70s, almost 80 this weekend.
Ding, 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 ding.
I
You're
know.
right.
Yeah, we actually have our first farmers market. We're doing 7. We're signed up for 7 this summer, a
Wow.
week. Yeah, it's a great way to get more notoriety, since a lot of people don't actually live in the Snoqualmie Valley in North Bend, but a lot of people come up from Seattle, whether it's skiing or in the summer it's hiking.
Mhm.
So to kind of have more notoriety, so that when people do travel up here, they're like, oh, I saw you at the, Sammamish Farmers Market, or I saw you at Maple Valley, or I saw you at Mercer Island. So I started, when I took over, we were doing 3 farmers markets a week. Now we're up to 7.
That's
so
a lot.
Duval starts in 2 days, this Thursday. So when I saw the weather report, I was like, well, that is definitely a help. I don't know what the farmers markets will look like this year, but it'll be a lot of fun now that the weather will be nice. So if you're in Duval, come out, say hi.
I think it's a perfect spot for a drive, right?
That's right.
Even if you don't live there. So that's great. And you guys have a fantastic website that people can go on, the northbendbakery.com.
Yep.
If they want to see, what you have, where you're at, your hours, but it shows the farmers markets that you're at, if they wanted to come by and say hello, the tree farms, later in the year. But there's all kinds of great stuff on there. And it was really, you've got some great pictures of just even the history of the building and the bakery on your website that were really fun to see, the different facades that as they did the remodels, they were able to uncover. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, so my wife actually put together the website.
Okay.
And she did a lot of digging into, when we found out the bakery had been there so long, she did some homework and tried to find some sequential, changes to the bakery over the decades. So it is really cool that there is so much history in the bakery, in the town. It's one of the reasons why we changed the name to the North Bend Bakery. I mean, the community's been supporting the bakery for 90 years. So just pay homage to them. Hopefully we'll take it to the centennial and continue to add.
Yeah. The North Bend community seems to be, and whole Snoqualmie Valley seems to be a really great and kind of tight-knit community.
It really is.
It's
I didn't
neat to
realize
see
it until I moved from Linwood, because I was kind of removed when I had to drive all the way out there, for 8 months. But as soon as we moved into North Bend, the day I moved in, my neighbor asked for me, and I had not met her or seen her before. She knew who I was, greeted me into the neighborhood. So the first 30 seconds we were in the North Bend, I mean, you could tell the community spirit, and thoroughly, and enjoying that we are now a part of the community.
I think that's great. Yeah, we've had a couple different guests on from the Snoqualmie Valley, and I just think it's great. There's so many wonderful businesses out there, really innovative, and the way not only the business owners come together to support everybody, but then also the community in terms of, shopping there, eating there, doing different things to really keep that going, I think is great.
It is.
That's the reason people move to places like North Bend and the Snoqualmie Valley. So you patron those businesses then to keep them going, and it's fun to see how that all happens.
Yeah.
So what are some of your other favorite parts about living in North Bend? You mentioned just the sense of community and knowing your neighbors.
So, I mean, the beauty is, it's remarkable. I look out my back and I've got the ridge. I look out my front, there's Mount Si. You're kind of in the woods. You're kind of the last stop, honestly, before you kind of, head to the pass and stuff like that. So I really like being out here, but at the same time, no traffic. You're in the Seattle in 25, 30 minutes. So plenty of people sit for longer than that in traffic for a much shorter period of time. So
you have the best of both worlds. You know, you want to go to a Mariners game, you want to go out to dinner, you know, you want to take the ferry to Bainbridge, you know, for a day trip. It's still all accessible. But then when you return home, you've got the small town community feel with Mount Si at your leisure. And yeah, I honestly, it's the best of both worlds in my opinion.
Yeah, you're right. I think it is. It's especially like you said, it's so accessible from I-90. Super, super easy. But I also love that drive from North Bend, like into Redmond. You just feel like you're in a whole other world. It's so pretty, right?
Yeah, like when we head to Duval on Thursday, just 202, just all the way into the back roads. So you're kind of out in the country.
Yeah.
It's really pretty.
That's great. It's good to know that the farmers markets are opening up too. I was thinking about that the other day and then meant to look it up. I was wondering, when they were opening and what that would look like. So I think that's wonderful. And I'm starting to see more people out and about. It's feeling like people are getting more comfortable with just life.
Yeah.
And being out. So that's been really great too.
Yeah.
So awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today, Aaron.
I really appreciate it.
I really, really appreciate it. The North Bend Bakery, they are open. They have amazing, amazing pastries, sandwiches, all kinds of things. So whether you live in North Bend or you're looking for a drive, or you're just now realizing that it's Mother's Day and you don't have a plan, a trip to the North Bend Bakery is absolutely worth it and a good place to go. We will have the links to everything on the website after the show, NicoleMangina.com/podcast. And as always, have a great week and we will see you next Tuesday. Thanks so much for joining us, Aaron.
Yeah, thanks, Nicole.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Cool. All clear?
Perfect.